Hey Leo, I've been channeling this for you for a while. In fact, I've gotten a lot of time to think about what I was feeling when I picked up your energy. And I think the primary feeling is frustration, but that narrows it down. I mean, that's too broad. So let's get into everything else that came to me. It's not your responsibility to bring people along with you. And I know that you always want everybody in your pride to come along with you. And the frustration is stemming from this insistence to not only not come along, but almost be intentionally oppositional from your perspective. But more than that, accusatory toward you. Words like selfish, self-centered, in your own world, control freak, all of those things coming at you because simply you believe that the ultimate can be done. You have absolute faith, no doubts, not only in yourself, but in the people that you love, and somebody insisting that that's arrogance instead of confidence. I am currently in Memphis, Nashville, so you can kind of see some stuff going on in back. But what I want to say is that the heart of the lion is all encompassing. It's huge, and where the stereotype is usually that you are filled with yourself and arrogant and only want and constantly want attention. I mean, attention isn't a bad thing, right? What people don't understand about Leos is that they don't just want to be king or queen. Leos want to be king and queen of a very happy, healthy pride. And if that happiness and that health doesn't permeate their entire pride, their entire family, their entire group, their friends that they love, they're not okay. And that's such a huge part of you because of how big you care for everybody else that you care about too. To be accused or have somebody not understanding how important their needs are to you is hurtful. But it's also frustrating because you see them not living up to their full potential or making it a you against them thing when it's really not. I wonder how much you can actually take. I mean, of course, it depends on who you're dealing with, but how much you can actually put up with when it's not just frustrating you anymore, it's hurting you. It's not just making you irritated or agitated or even angry, because this person is pulling back and missing out on opportunities that you've identified for them. Or it could be a situation too. It could be a group that you work with, right? Them just not listening to what you're saying. Of course, the other side of that is, are you listening to what they're saying and really seeing the potential in what they have envisioned? And sometimes to put away what you've determined as the right thing to do and try to put yourself into that position of, well, why do they think this is right? And why is it such a good thing? 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 Why is at the very least, not to change your mind, but at the very least, it could help you communicate with them. So that now you're on a similar page or a shared space. Let's get into the cards. Hold on. So, please do click subscribe and like the video, help the channel grow. And there's always an extended reading, just so that you guys know. First card that came out is Squirrel, which is Virgo energy. So you could be dealing with somebody who is, this is how they communicate. They communicate in a way that is extremely pragmatic and organized, and that in planning way in advance is something that is essential to their sense of certainty, security, as well as their sense of productivity and value. You know, Virgos validate themselves on the ability to organize and prepare a space that is reliable and safe and healthy for those that they love. So if things have been becoming chaotic, they will become defensive and reactionary because the world doesn't feel comfortable to them anymore. So a sense of a lifestyle that is more, you know, not just devil may care, but just improvisational is something that they almost will react in a defensive way toward. So this doesn't mean that you're dealing with a Virgo. It means that this is essentially something or somebody that a primary essence of who they are. So if there has been tension, it's coming from this area of not understanding or knowing where things are headed, where things are going, or even how to behave in this maybe improvisational or more spontaneous atmosphere that they find themselves in. They like to plan for the future. So this would be a sense if you are in a relationship with somebody, for example, and there hasn't been talk of marriage, or there hasn't been a ring put, you know, on the table yet, there is that sense of feeling upset or worried or even vulnerable because you don't have the future planned out. This is preparing for the future. It's stacking up, it's storing up, it's planting seeds so that you have a supply of nuts and fruits in the future, right? So this is really long-term energy. And with Saturn in Capricorn again, there is that sense of return to that long-term project energy. So to get to the heart of your circumstance, there is that devaluation of the long term and so much focus on the short term that the person is starting to get accusatory and defensive because they don't feel long-term coming from you, or they don't feel long-term in their life and in their sphere. It's making them reactionary. So does that make you wrong? No. In fact, I think what you're doing is you honestly, absolutely have the mindset of preparing for the future and working hard, because on the flip side, your energy is this absolute, you believe in your dreams. You believe in what you're setting up. You know that it's going to work. And you have a wonderful comfort in that atmosphere of knowing that this is going to work, and not even thinking that you don't have all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted, because you're not thinking of it. Why? You don't need to. You have that framework inside of you that makes you courageous in the moment, as opposed to just needing that certainty all around. Now, you are a fixed sign, so this fixed energy could actually not be so oppositional to you. There's a sense of certainty and security, but your fixed energy really lies in your confidence, in your tenacity and commitment to what's inside of your heart, as opposed to lying out all this footwork step by step and being certain, or let's just say having all the blueprints down. But maybe if you just realize that if you could provide a preliminary blueprint and help almost like speak their language and show them that you do have these plans for the future, and that this is how they're incorporated into it. That may be a starting point for your conversation. We have life is a mystery that came up next, and this card is, hey, the unknown. There is fate and there is destiny. So this is telling me a lot is changing in your world right now, and it's benchmarked in the cosmos. So it's benchmarked in your life. This is a turning point. 7 or 8 is like that life cycle period when things do change. You know, when you go from being single to getting married, or then getting married to having your first child, or seeing your first child go off to school, you know, or seeing them go to college, you know, like this is a transitional period for you. So somebody with this mentality, or even if it's you with this mentality, it could now become this underlying lack of confidence where there was confidence. And if that's coming from the outside of you, not the inside, you could be perceiving it as them suddenly judging you, or not trusting you the way that they used to, which would really hit you hard. Now, it could be that they are behaving like they don't trust you anymore, but it's coming from this point of, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. They're trying so badly to plant those seeds so that they can feel control over their environment again. And there's these circumstances that they're unseen. They're not realized yet, and they're supposed to be a mystery. That's the underlying path that the both of you or all of you are on right now, is that there is a lot of unknowns. And so faith is your only solid pathway right now. And that's that time when you have to grab each other's hand and say, well, I have faith in you and you have faith in me. And right now that is what we have. So it could be potential to bring you closer. You're certainly transitioning and you're moving from one stage of your life to another, because frog totem is the totem of change. It's the totem of development and maturation, because essentially it's not time to be a tadpole anymore. It's time to be something more. And that means letting go of all those things that have helped to basically not allow you to use the arms and legs that you've grown, if you will, over the past few years. You know, maybe when you were a little tadpole, it didn't matter so much, but now it absolutely matters, because a big part of who you are and who you've developed into is you have these new limbs and you're capable of using them. So it's like you've got to drop all the stuff that gets in the way of that. Now that could be jobs, that could be where you live. There is definitely, I feel movement here. So there's something transitional here, whether you're moving states or redecorating the house or changing houses. There is a sense of needing to declutter and get rid of actual tangible physical things that have become cumbersome to what you feel security is. You come to rely on them for security, and they've become cumbersome to what your future is. So there is that sense of now having to go through a lot of things that you've held on to and you've gained some sort of certainty or security from, maybe validation in terms of what you're capable of earning or what you're worth, and realizing that's not what you're worth. It's got nothing to do with it. You could go with nothing, and it's your charisma and your value, and like your charisma and the way that you inspire people is really where your true value comes from. So this is that transitional period for you that can be emotional. And in other words, you're already feeling a little bit exposed and a little bit vulnerable. So you relying on that person, especially if there's somebody that you're in love with or that you've worked for years with, you know, if you've really relied on them as that, in other words, your relationships are going to be that solid place for you right now. But when they're reacting in that way, in a way that is sort of oppositional to you, to your transition. It's just going to exacerbate those things and make it more difficult. So there is a sense of the both of you growing and maturing, and all of you, if you're working in a business, growing and maturing and allowing yourself to let go of those things that are not really giving you security, but have felt that way for a very long time. So this is that essence of finding value in this really difficult situation, in having to let go, in getting rid of all this clutter. There's going to be value in the process. There's going to be opportunity, like I said, for you, especially if you're in a relationship, to grow closer in this shitstorm of it feeling like you're growing apart. Are you growing apart? I don't feel like this is irredeemable. I don't actually think that you are falling apart. There is this sense of being able to multiply your assets, being able to make more out of less. Actually, it being a very fortunate time for you, where there's a lot of value and a lot of productivity and a lot of resources that are coming to you. So this is actually, it feels like you're in quicksand. You're not. You're in a current that may not be letting you go, so you don't feel as in control, but that current is carrying you very far. So you don't have to do the motions. What did I say? Faith is a huge necessity right now. It's like, how do you grab onto faith? With your heart, with your soul. Got to grab onto it and allow it to carry you. You are definitely dealing with somebody who likes to have a hand in everything that goes on. This is Capricornian energy, so somebody that's a major adherent to the law, to order, to practicality, and they attach moral value to playing by the rules and doing things the right way, and liking they are somebody who loves to build, who loves to grow, and they are in a developmental stage in their life right now, and I'm sure that you are too, where they are growing outward. They feel very in control and almost like they're the ones setting the rules. So that could be a big clash right now. If this is you and you're the one setting the rules, there could be a big clash of somebody feeling like they've been trapped, feeling like they're being manipulated and all the strings are pulled, which simply means they don't feel like they have a voice in this circumstance. But Leo, now that you know, you can listen. You can give them that voice. Now, if this is a sense of this is them, then know that that's what they're taking pride in what they're building and what they're establishing, and feeling like you want to change everything. They're taking it personally, as if you don't respect them. Am I saying that that's what you're doing? No. What I am saying is that is what they're feeling. So having that information and you being able to know that could really, really help you navigate the relationship situations with them. I'm going to go into a full tarot card spread to get more information and a deeper understanding as to what it is that you guys are going through. Let's see what comes out right now. Both of you are working very, very hard. This is beautiful energy of good work. So it's interesting. With this card coming out, it seems like there is almost like a clash of two kings. A sense of both of you being so good at what you do that now it's almost like bringing two kingdoms together, as opposed to, bringing in people who help you support the kingdom. And that is trickier. It's trickier. It's not just trickier because you're dealing with ego. It's trickier because you're dealing with goals and aspirations outside of your own, and navigating that level of commitment in somebody else and them doing the same for you is in particular, you have to step lighter. That's what this is. So yeah, let's get into the full tarot card spread and the extended, and I will see you guys over there.